Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the Achiever in You. Welcome to Our Region's Business with your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, looking for that perfect gift for someone who has everything? Well, how about a book full of alternate histories by an author from right here in our region? Plus, Global Links takes giving global by sharing our region's surplus medical equipment with Latin America and the world. But first, need that's a bit closer to home. Even though our region's economy is doing better than many places in America, the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank is responding to a spike in demand. Lisa Scales is CEO of the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, and welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Bill. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we like to focus in this time of giving. Everybody focused on Christmas coming up very shortly, but also on the fact that not everybody's kind of doing as well as many others. What are you seeing in the food bank world?
Well, we're seeing a spike in demand actually since the beginning of November. Many of our neighbors are struggling to make ends meet. Most of the households we serve have either part-time or full-time wage earner in the household, but they still can't earn enough to put food on the table each and every day in the month.
You know, it probably would surprise a lot of people, although, you know, the unemployment rate in the region is still about 6.7%, which is on the high side. But it has been edging down, you know, gradually for a couple of years now. So what seems to be driving this?
Well, the majority of people we serve actually are parents with young children, senior citizens, people with disabilities, veterans. So many of our most vulnerable citizens that don't have the same job opportunities. Or if you're a senior on a fixed income, you've retired and you're on that income now. For many of the people who are working full-time, they're frequently working one or even two jobs, but they're low-pay jobs. And so that's what causes them to struggle so much in terms of feeding themselves and their families.
But it seems to be on the rise. You would think a lot of that would be steady state. Are there other dynamics at play that seem to be fueling it in the last couple of months?
Well, there were cuts to the SNAP benefits.
SNAP is what exactly?
The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps.
Oh, okay,
and
sure.
so those are the benefits that families get every month to help feed themselves and their families. And there was a cut in that was effective November 1st. Some from the stimulus reduction, so there was actually additional money put in people's pockets early in 2009 because of the stimulus. That was then taken away November 1st. And that's had a significant impact on many of the families we serve.
And those were cutbacks essentially at the federal level that get passed all the way through, and then people wind up showing up on your doorstep or the food pantries' doorsteps around the region, right?
That's correct. And what we're very concerned about is the increase in demand, the pressure it will put on our network of many of our pantries are run by volunteers and they get food from us. We rely on the generosity of the community, but it's often not enough. And now with these added cuts, that will mean that the people who currently go to a food pantry may be in need for more assistance. They may want more food, or families that didn't have to come to a food pantry now may find themselves in need and show up at the pantry doorstep.
And you saw it that quickly, literally. The cuts went into effect November 1, and then more people at your door virtually the next day?
Yes, at some of the distributions that we do directly to people, we have a mobile pantry program called Produce to People. At 3 of the sites in November, we were comparing this November to last November, we saw as much as a 40% increase in the number of people we serve this November.
40% increase, but I can't imagine that the giving to support the food bank has spiked by 40% this fall.
I wish. It has not, however. I'm very happy to announce that the Pittsburgh Foundation has announced a critical needs appeal through December 31st to support our food bank, the Westmoreland County Food Bank, and several of our food pantries. So the community is stepping up and saying there is a critical need at this time, please help. And already the response has been amazing.
Geez, well, as a woman running a food bank business, though, I can't imagine to suddenly see a 40% spike in demand. And so how do you manage it? Does that mean every family just gets less food when they show up? How do you balance it?
Well, and that is what some of it will be, is that families will receive less, although we are working with our partners, both locally and nationally. We get food from around the country, especially fresh produce, which is makes up 22% of our inventory these days, which I'm very happy to announce that, because it's nutritious food, and we serve such a vulnerable population. Children and seniors make up 50% of our service, so having that fresh produce is really important to us in terms of the health and wellness of the families we serve. And so much of that produce comes to us from across the country, so we're going to work even harder to bring more of that here to the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah. What really drives you? Where do most of your resources come from? Is it corporate? Is it individual giving? Where do you get the resources to buy all the food or acquire it all?
Right. Well, we're so fortunate. It starts with our amazing network of food pantries that work hard every day to feed people, to our volunteers, so people in the community, whether they're individuals or part of a group, a school group, a church group, with their synagogue, they come to us and they volunteer their time, so that's a great support to us. And then the foundation community, the corporate community, individuals with means that say, you know what, hunger is a critical problem. No child should go to bed hungry. We're not going to stand for that. We're going to help out. We're going to help you ensure that our families get enough to eat each and every day.
Well, it's a great community effort, once again, for people who want to help, and certainly this thing with the Pittsburgh Foundation before the end of the year. How do they do it?
They can contact us at 412-460-3663 or visit our website at pittsburghfoodbank.org.
Very good. Lisa Scale, CEO of the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Bill.
Next up, global links. How medical equipment we can't use anymore here in our region is helping people south of the border and staying out of landfills at the same time. Stay with us.